Yo, what's up, guys? The question that's on everyone's mind is Etheria restart free-to-play friendly? And this is going to be the answer that I think no one has really been giving you thus far, because a lot of people are saying like it is or it isn't because of this or because of that. But the actual answer is we do not know. And the thing is, we can't know. And the main reason for that is, and that's why the answer is like this rather than saying it is or it isn't. Sure, I can make an estimation, but we don't know because every beta has been played to a certain extent of just a week or 2 weeks or anything like that. But it was never played longer than 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. And that is the thing. Any game at the start is going to be very free-to-play friendly because you have all of these achievements. You go through the achievements, you get a bunch of crystals over here, you get a bunch of crystals over there. You can infinitely do your refreshes. As a free-to-play player, I was able to get rank 3 in the normal arena. I was able to get rank 3 in the RTA arena. So as a free-to-play, you definitely could get along pretty well in the betas. But that is different the moment that you're playing for a longer, prolonged amount of time. Because then the big thing is, well, what makes a game free-to-play or not is how much crystal income can you get. Well, this is on account that that's pretty much everything. So don't mind me on the crystals over here on this one. But what does make a game free-to-play friendly or not free-to-play friendly is very much determined, like how much can you farm? Because in the end, towards your progression, a lot of people want to be summoning. Sure, there's a lot of people that's just going to be like summoning. But if you actually want to compete with players, you have to do a lot of farming. You have to get your shells up, you have to get your mothers up, you have to get all of those things up. And for that, most of the time, you will have to do refreshes with your crystals towards getting more stamina, getting more runs and getting more dungeons cleared. And that way you can actually upgrade your account. But the big question is, how much crystals do you get? Because in the end, currently, it does cost about 960 crystals to fully refresh your stamina or stability or energy, whatever it's called in any game, per day. That is a decent amount. But let's actually look at it. Where can we get free-to-play crystals if we exclude all of these achievements? Because within, I would say, 2 weeks to maybe a month, you're probably done with the hyperlink charters, and then it's going to be, okay, how good are the events going to be? Because events are very important. Like, sure, we had a few events with the candy party just earlier. There are a few other events, such as this one, and I think the one, is it also over here? Yeah, this one. There were a few events, and they give you some crystals here and there, but it's not the craziest amount. And in the early game of the game, it's totally not needed because we're fed crystals by just a hyperlink charter. But afterward, where do we get more crystals? So there are a few spots where you still can get crystals. You can get them as random drops actually in the investigation, but that's such a low rate, you're not really gonna get anything from there too much. So we're more looking towards the final rewards that we do see for the ranking in Arena, and we do see in the RTA. So in here, for a weekly fixed reward, let's say we get master ranks, which is already pretty high. I think free-to-play would probably get more towards like diamond-ish. Season settlement is like a 600. Diamond is a 300 per week. So the season ends, like, let's say that diamond 3 is reasonable to get as free-to-play. Maybe even just diamond 1. I would say that these rewards are a little bit on the low side. And once again, these are rewards that did not really matter throughout the beta, but are definitely going to be mattering throughout the progression of the game if we're playing it for half a year or anything like that. And then I would say just 280 per week for getting a certain rank is not that much. If they would have been upped a little bit, it definitely makes it a lot more free-to-play friendly. Sure, you might say it's like, oh, but I have to be pay to win to get to these kind of ranks. I do think if you play very efficient and effective, and you still use most of your resources towards gearing up rather than summoning more, I do think that with even a lot of free-to-play units, you can definitely get a lot of those ranks in. And then the distribution is definitely looking at like, okay, how much do you get and where do you get those? Because right now, just getting an Iron 1 compared to a Diamond 3 is double. That doesn't really seem right to me. But those are definitely numbers that I will be very curious to see of like, how much they are going to adjust those. And also over here, I think there's more over here as well. These are just for the whole season. So I'm also not sure how long is a season, because if a season is a month, then you could get another 1,200 a month if you're managing to get this rank diamond. And this is a little bit harder than in the other one. Well, that's also the thing. No, that's actually a really good point if we're talking about it. If we want to do Arena properly, I think Arena should have had higher rewards in the first place. Because if we check this, if we want to refresh Arena, it costs you 300 crystals per day. If a week reward is giving you 300, you're only covering 1 day out of that. And to get to this rank, you probably have to do a few refreshes. So maybe not really the most worth of rewards to get over there. So in that case, the Summit Arena might be one of those more places where you get more free-to-play crystals. So that is going to be the question that is at hand. And that is also the answer to, is this game free-to-play friendly or not? We don't know. No one really knows. People that make an estimation or if it is or it isn't are basing it based off their information from the beta. But the beta, like you probably played many gacha games, it's always all rainbow and sunshines and you get a lot of materials. I'm playing Sky Arena myself, Summoners War Sky Arena. If I make a new account, it probably takes me about a month to run out of all of my free-to-play crystals if you don't use any crystals for summoning. Afterwards, that's where the point is like, okay, I don't have all of the materials to summon or all of the materials to keep refunding all of the crystals towards energy or stability or stamina or whatever it's called. And that is the point where it kicks in. Is like, okay, now I can throw more hours at it, but I don't necessarily get any upgrades. But that is also, I think that is very interesting in the debate of free-to-play against pay-to-win. Because in gacha games, in my opinion, there's more than resources as money. Because I think money is definitely a resource that can improve you, but time and investment is almost as important or even more important. Because if someone spends a lot of money but doesn't put the time investment to learn the game, understand the game, and use the resources properly, then in that case, the free-to-play player will, in most cases, in most games, do better than the pay-to-win player. However, if the pay-to-win player is also heavily invested in time, does read upon the game, does understand everything, yes, then in most cases, the pay-to-win player will do better. Does that mean that the free-to-play player has absolutely no chance? Well, something that we can differ in between games from one another, like, once again, I have most experience with Sky Arena. And if we're looking at the prices of the things that we can buy in here, it is a lot cheaper than it is in Sky Arena. So in this case, I don't really see the prices of this. I think it's like still like one ticket is pretty much to €1 price. Yeah, it pretty much seems like that from the boxes that I have seen before. But I would say if you're just planning to spend a little bit, get this one. Because mainly the Etheria coin is definitely something you do really want to add up on. If you want to get all of your refreshes in, how much would you have to spend? And then we're excluding all free-to-play crystals. You would have to spend about, I would say, if you want to do all of them, you need 10 of those per day. So you need like 50 of those, maybe a little bit less because you get a little bit over here. So let's say 9. Let's say you also want to do all of your refreshes, so all of your extra tickets in Arena, you would have to get another 3. So we're looking at €65 per month. Is maybe a little bit pricey for some people on the other end, but also for the people that do spend on gacha games 65 a month, it's mostly not that much. Like most people, like myself, I can be honest, like in Sky Arena, I definitely had months where I went a K in. But then again, it's also my job to make content out of Sky Arena, so me investing a bit in the account does also give me back a bit of content. So it goes a little bit back and forth in that. So definitely the question, how much can you spend on those things and how much are you willing to spend? But I would say definitely $5 a month is definitely one of those prices. Like, I'm not trying to sell you or anything like this. If you want to be free to play, completely be free to play, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But just $5 a month does bring you a lot further. And that's also what you do see with a lot of these games. Once again, taking the Sky Arena example, the first 500 you spend, you get really good value. The next 500, it already goes down by a decent bit, but you still get decent value. And then the next K, from like a K to a K, so 1K to 2K, the value you get is a lot lower. And then the more you spend, at some point, you're just buying like legit the crystal trade and you're just getting nonsense, or you're buying whatever useless value pack. But I did do the math on this shop. To buy out the whole shop in this, would not recommend to do it, but you could, is about €280. To buy out the whole shop in Sky Arena, you're like legit. I don't even want to do the math because it would take me it would legitimately take me an hour and a half to do all the math, and I'm probably like 5K down the drain. So that's definitely a big difference. Sure, that game has been running for 11 years. They add more and more packs, that kind of stuff. In this game, they probably will add more packs throughout the amount of time that the game is released as well. Does make a lot of sense. But I would say thus far, it looks a lot more free-to-play friendly for a lot of cases that you could go for. And that's also my recommendation to start playing this game. Just go with maybe a limited spending of like getting one of these, or maybe not at all, for the first few months, maybe even half a year. And then consider, it's like, hey, do I enjoy this game? do I feel like it's worth spending a little bit? Do I just want to like support the development of the game by getting a 5 in here, maybe a little bit more like that? That is the point where you should be starting about thinking about spending. Don't go in the first month like, oh, I need this to level up my stuff, and I need the perfect lattices, and I need this, and I need that, and I need to. No, don't go for that. Don't go spending like your 50s and your 100s and all of that stuff right away if you're not 100% sure if you do actually enjoy this game. Just take it by like time of value. Like, hey, how much time do I spend into it? Do I enjoy the game for that? How much money can I miss on that? And that's also, once again, this is a luxury product. You don't have to spend it, so don't spend any of the money you can't miss. But if you can miss some money and you're like, hey, I want to progress faster, that's definitely where you can go for it. But thus far, once again, the answer, is this game super free-to-play friendly or not? We do not know, because we don't know the game state after that first month where you're out of the hyperlink charters. And being out of the hyperlink charters, that is where you get a lot of crystal value throughout all kinds of places, left, right, and center. So in the end, we do not know. Anyone that claims that they do know does not know. Maybe the developers know. But that's maybe Jack would probably kind of know. But that is the main thing. How much is there going to be of free-to-play crystals? And you get those either through events, you get those either through, in this case, like any kind of weekly rewards, such as that you have in the arena, which I think the normal arena is a little bit on the low side. The RTA might be a little bit better on that, but it might be a little bit harder to get into, especially for free-to-play. So those are the two places that I'm looking into. Probably, at least if we're comparing it to similar games such as Sky Arena, you do tend to get more crystals from the guild, like the guild for guilds content. So those kind of things are what we're looking at. How many crystals can we get from there? And therefore, how free-to-play friendly is it? Like, is it already giving you enough to maybe do like, maybe not all refreshes per day, but give you like 3 or 4 refreshes per day? Because that brings you a lot further than having none a day. And if you just can get those free-to-play rotating around all the time, and then you can get like the 1 extra refresh in from, for example, well, you get a few over here as well. So definitely it kind of have to add up. I will definitely, the moment that I do know the answer, I will make the answer on that video, or I will make a video with the answer, with all of the math. How many free-to-play crystals do you get? How many refresh can you do? And I'm actually focusing a lot on not summoning. And sure, a lot of people might be like, yo, I'm just going to be summoning a lot. Like all of those resources I get into summoning. Sure, could be an option. I'm not sure if that's the right approach in this game. I feel like that in this game, summoning in the first place is going to give you a lot of stuff because we have a lot of banners. They did also mention in a Discord notice that they're going to be changing, I think, this one from 100 towards 80, or is it going to be, no, this one is an 80 already regardless, right? Pretty sure that this is already 80 regardless. So I think they're going to be changing this one. And in the Discord, they did actually mention 2 notices about being more free-to-play friendly. So it's definitely one of those things. I do have it open over here as well. Let me open it up for you. There we have it. So this is the official Discord. If you want to go to the official Discord, link is in the description. Also my Discord, there's a link in the description. But they do talk about like, hey, we want to be free-to-play friendly. And we do really focus on like talking to the community. There's been a bunch of posts of like suggestions in here. And it has been getting a lot of topic. And definitely one of those topics that has been talked about a lot is like, okay, the duplicates don't work towards RTA, or they barely matter. They actually said that barely matters. And I also asked one of the CMs, is like, okay, does it barely matter or does it not matter at all? Because those two things are two very separate things, of course, right? In the end, the answer is yes, it does matter, but they're relatively small upgrades, so it doesn't like changes the game mechanics. You could argue back and forth about that. I would definitely say the final one, 10% damage reduction. I had that on my Sania during the beta. It was definitely very noticeable. 10% damage reduction is absolutely noticeable. And also 10% damage increase is very noticeable on damage dealers as well. So I would definitely not argue for saying like they barely have value. They definitely do have value. But should they have value? That is a question you could debate about. I would definitely say that the pay-to-win players would say like, yeah, I'm spending for some reason. Free-to players would say it's like, then I can't compete. They are also discussing this internally, and that is the cool thing about Etheria Restart and also XD Company, which is the company making Etheria Restart. They're actually looking into things. They notice something within the community. They see us like, they notify us like, hey, this and this is being talked about. We notice like, hey, this is maybe not what people expect. Let us explain. And that is so much better than some of the companies that we have seen out there before, because a lot of the companies are like, something goes wrong. Let me put my head in the sand and then just waver it out and see what happens when it goes over. And maybe it doesn't get like waver over, maybe not. If not, we'll just wait a little bit longer. But we're definitely not going to mention that we did anything wrong. So this company is not necessarily saying that they did something wrong. It's something that we just kind of like with the whole community started like, oh, they said it doesn't matter, so it's not affected in there at all. I also thought that at first. But the thing is like, hey, they want to clarify things. They want to be like, hey, this is not exactly what we meant. So therefore, we try to clarify things, and therefore we want to explain things, and therefore we want to communicate things. And that is what I really appreciate about this company. And this is not a sponsored video whatsoever. So also, if it is a sponsored video, you probably know me through Sky Arena. And if you don't, you know me through Etheria Restart right now. I like to speak my mind. Even if it is promoted, I like to speak my mind. And therefore, I would not promote anything that I can't speak my mind on. Or they would say, it's like, oh, can you kind of hype it up? It's like, yeah, okay, but hey, I don't agree, so I wouldn't promote it. Simple as it is. So for me, I will never promote any game that I wouldn't be playing myself. I started promoting Etheria Restart the first time I saw it, because I actually saw it's like, hey, this does look cool. This does look like a good game. The more I played it, the more I fell in love with it. I made a second channel on it, and that's why you're watching this video right now. Guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you do want to see more like this, let me know in the comments what maybe kind of guides or kind of content you would like to see me do content on. I'm mostly familiar with, or mostly known for guides back in Sky Arena of trying to do all kinds of dungeon teams, PvE teams, and that kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more like that. And I'll definitely be playing Etheria Restart on the 5th of June. And I will be making some more of like an ultimate beginner guide towards that 5th of June as well. But I do have options to maybe make a few other guides here and there, or discuss other topics if you would like to see more of those on this channel as well. So definitely, you know where to find me. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. See you as always in the next one. And once again, I highly recommend to join the official Discord, but also join my Discord. Make sure that you select the Etheria Restart, what's it called? Role? Is it a role? I think it is a role. You select the Etheria Restart role, and therefore you get into the Etheria Restart group. Maybe you want to find like a union already, or maybe you want to find a group of people to talk about strategies, what you do want to do or don't want to do, maybe for rerolling, not for rerolling. Personally, I will go for rerolling, and I will make a guide for rerolling the moment I do know what's kind of to be expected for the rerolling itself. Well, guys, thanks a lot for watching for this one. See you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.